Now, the culpable homicide case against Duduzane Zuma continues in Randburg Magistrate's Court, and that's where we find the eNCA's Janke Tolmay, who is outside the court there. Janke, good morning to you. So one of the interesting things that I picked up this morning is that Duduzane, having, well, in a way, came alone yesterday to court. Today, he's accompanied by his twin sister.
Yes, that's correct. He made his way into court just before 9 o'clock, accompanied by his twin sister, Duduzane. And yesterday, as you've mentioned, he was basically alone because since the start of this case, we've seen his father, former President Janke Zuma, who's no stranger to the court himself, being by his side for most of the time. And I think that was what was expected when the trial kicked off yesterday. But there was no sign of of any family members, but that changed today during the second day of the trial. He has some support in court today.
Indeed, and Janke, we heard yesterday from 4 state witnesses. Today, the understanding is that there will be a scene reconstruction expert that is going to give testimony, and also there will be another passenger who testifies. Will these be the last sort of people that are brought forward by the state to testify up until Friday?
Yes, I spoke to the state yesterday about what could be expected today, and they said they would only call 2 more witnesses because of a statement that was read out by the defence in which they made certain admissions. For example, the number of people who were injured, the way that the accident happened, and so forth. So they reduced that number of witnesses, which meant they only need to call 2 more today. And from the updates I'm getting from inside court, it seems like the fellow passenger was the second passenger that they've called, Charlotte Langisa, has already wrapped up with her testimony. It was very quick from the state side, and cross-examination seemed to be also only a couple of questions. It seemed like she couldn't remember much from the accident. She said she was sitting quietly, and then suddenly she heard the crash, and that's when the taxi almost tipped over but then landed again on its 4 wheels. She was seated next to the deceased Phumzile Dube, and she was then hanging out of the window. That's when Charlotte was calling out her name, but then she saw that she wasn't responding, and apparently there was quite a lot of blood in her hair and in her eyes, and that's when she understood that she had passed away. She herself was quite injured, so she told the court that Duduzane Zuma then took her into his Porsche because of the rain to wait for the ambulance. But she's wrapped up now, so we do expect that the court is now hearing from the last state witness, if we are correct, and that would be the accident reconstruction expert.
All right, Janke, just finally then, what has been Duduzane's defense about this particular accident? We heard from his lawyer yesterday not to go into too much technicalities in as far as the vehicle that he was driving, but there seemed to be some technical issues about it in as far as wet conditions are concerned.
Yes, the wet conditions has definitely been the main focus since the start of the trial, with the first state witness even also being someone from the South African Weather Service. And basically what they've been saying is that the conditions were extremely wet on the road. He went through a pool of water on the highway, and it was not him driving recklessly. It was just that he lost control of the vehicle because of the wet conditions at that stage, and he unfortunately slammed into the minibus taxi. So from his side, he keeps saying that he couldn't control what was happening. His car just couldn't handle the wet conditions on that day, and that's when the accident happened.
All right, Janke Tolmay will be keeping tabs on you, and as far as that story is concerned.